All right, so good day to everyone. So, before we continue with the different components of leadership and management, of course, we are going to go back again to our first lecture ever regarding leadership and management, the definitions at the same time, the first level, second level, and then we will continue with our third and fourth levels, and eventually we will have another topic. So this is just a wrap up of what we were able to finish last time. So I'm sure na medyo nahihirapan ang ilan since you have no book. Okay, wala kayong librong binabasa as of the moment. Okay, you're just depending on our lectures. You have no modules then. Okay, I cannot provide you actually with modules because I would like you uh, to meron namang mga modules pala. But of course, I would like to um, uh, uh, remind you that it's really important for you to assimilate, accommodate all the learnings that you have, that you need to know about this topic, because later on this will help you to become wise nurses. At the same time, um, this subject will help you on how to manage your units. Okay, especially when you become managers and you will have or acquire positions, all right, in your institution later on. And of course, that is very possible. Okay, and with the talents, with the skills and knowledge that you have, all right. I'm pretty sure that all right. So I'm pretty sure that you will that you'll become successful in the chosen field or profession that you of course you will be employed in later on. So today, of course, we are going to discuss about still introduction to leadership. So you have here people in the hospital, and I know you know this person. He's a very prominent president of a certain country in the Western world. So sana nahulaan ninyo, no? So why do we have to study leadership and management? So why is it important for us to know what leadership and management is all about? So here are reasons that you have to take note why we need to study leadership and management. So, but before that, let's take a look at the relationship between leadership and management. So you have to know, or you have to remember, that there is a connection between a relationship between leadership and management, as it continues to prompt, okay, some debate, although there is clearly a need for us to learn both concepts. All right, so some theorists, okay, and nursing leaders have, you know, have defined leadership as one of the management's function, okay, or manager's function, okay, which needs or requires more complex skills than management, and that management is only a role of leadership. Okay, so still others would suggest that management emphasizes control, like for example, control of hours, cost, salaries, overtime, okay, use of sick leave, inventory, okay, and supplies, whereas leadership increases productivity by maximizing workforce effectiveness. So in short, class, we can summarize that the main point that authors would like to pinpoint here is that, okay, um, leadership is equal to, okay, leadership is equal to effectiveness, okay, or the measure of effectiveness, okay, the measure of effectiveness. All right, so it's actually very precise, it is very concise, okay, ang kanyang definition, whereas for management, class, it actually looks on the specific details of a certain person, the specific function of a certain person, especially on, okay, the control of, all right, control of cost, control of hours, control of salaries, of overtime. So it is actually control of everything. All right. So this is actually the definition that is given by all right, by Kerr, okay, or Care, um, ayan, in of course 2015. Okay, all right, that leadership is the measure of effectivity or efficiency of one person, while management is the ability of an individual to control everything that is inside the institution. So let's go back to our question a while ago. Why do we need to study leadership and management? Because this has been an issue, alright, to some students. Bakit napakaaga para sa amin na pag-aralan yung leadership and management? Whereas you're just students, when we graduate, we will start from the bottom. And I think it is more appropriate if we learn or we study leadership and management after, okay, or maybe during the time that promotion is already available. Okay, so as early as now, as early as you are students, we are actually very concerned with the study of leadership and management because of the following reasons. And number one would be nurses have to keep up with the many changes in the healthcare system. So the nursing profession is an evolving profession. It keeps on changing. It keeps on innovating. A lot of discoveries are coming in that causes, okay, a uh, a great turnaround. All right, or a major turnaround in our profession and in the whole healthcare system as well. So, as nurses and as professionals later on, we have to adapt, we have to assimilate, we have to keep up with the changes that is happening in our profession and in the healthcare system as a whole. Because if you are not updated, you are uh, you have stayed, okay, or you opted to stay in what you believe in or in what you have studied 50 years ago or 40 years ago. This will not help you actually in the evolving, okay, world of the healthcare system. Number two, of course, alongside of course is the fact that hospital care or institutional care today or in the past have shifted to the concern of nurses nowadays are in the shift, okay, of uh, uh, is in the shift to community health delivery. So mas concerned na ang ating healthcare system, okay, in the community health delivery. So ibig sabihin, we are actually more concerned with the promotive side, okay, the promotive side of health. Okay, ibig sabihin ng promotive is we educate the people, we increase awareness of the population for them for about their health and wellness, so that diseases or infirmities will be avoided during its in the first level or before a disease or a just for example, this pandemic that is going on, maiiwasan natin yung pagkakaroon ng epidemya, okay? And worse, if it becomes a pandemic already. So, this is a good move actually, all right, of the healthcare professionals, our leaders, our managers, wherein the focus now of health, okay, is on the community health delivery, or we call it in the Philippines as the public health system. Okay, so as you can see, a lot of nurses were hired by the Department of Health in the Philippines to be deployed in the rural communities, all right, in the far-flung areas, and in the okay, remote places in the Philippines. So, uh, all right. So yun ang focus ngayon ng ating healthcare delivery system. Okay, so also from emphasis on physical care, efforts nowadays are directed towards holistic approach to the care of individual, families, and communities. Okay, so before we have been focusing more on the holistic approach, okay, of our patients, okay. We become functional nurses, we employ case studies, all right, in dealing with our patients. But nowadays, the care is directed to individual families and communities, which is still in line with this fact, okay, that with the shift into the community health delivery. All right. As well as you have to take note that from mere recipients of care, patients nowadays are active participants in the healthcare efforts. All right. So you have to know, or you have to remember that patients today, okay, at our present time, are very knowledgeable. They have all means, okay, they have all the access to actually learn, all right, or study their health concerns. So there are applications, there are actually sites, okay, and there are a lot of platforms in the online world that they can seek help to, okay, and of course um, in anything that they are that concerns their health conditions, all right, their individual health, at the same time the health of the family as a whole. Okay, so other components or other reasons why we need to study leadership and management is that new developments in the healthcare system require that nurses continue updating their knowledge, skills, and attitudes to competently and adequately meet those changing needs. So that is why, okay, nowadays your CPD or your CPE, in some countries it's CME, or your continuing professional development or education, all right, are required for every professional for them to be upgraded, to be updated with the latest trends and issues that is, all right, that is applicable in their profession. Okay, so learning doesn't stop when you finish your bachelor's degree. There are actually schoolings, okay, seminars, trainings, enhancement activities that you can actually uh, enroll, all right, or you may join in this on these activities for you to learn new things, for you to be updated with the latest trends, okay, about our profession. Okay, so this CPD, CPE, or CMEs are available, okay, and they are facilitated by the government or private institutions, okay, and they are made available online or in the previous months or in the previous times, okay, or in previously, okay, they are available actually through yung mga seminars or trainings are available in different areas in the Philippines, especially in Manila or in the big cities. Okay, so when you attend this kind of seminars or trainings, you are given points, and these points, okay, accumulated points, are very helpful for you to renew your license, okay, or and of course your profession. All right. So there are trainings then, okay. Uh, Okay, trainings that will give you licenses later on, like example, your dialysis training. Okay, kaya yung mga ibang nurses, aside from their RN titles, meron silang nilalagay na CNN or your certified neph- nephrology nurse, mga ganyan. Okay, or some others attends the aesthetic trainings for those who are working in the spa, in yung tawag dito, yung facial centers, mga ganyan, mga nagfe-facial, derma clinic. Okay, may tinatawag tayong aesthetic trainings. And aside from their RN, may mga kinakabit din silang mga titles after their names, okay? And many other trainings in the OR, in the ER, and other units or specializations, okay, available. So new developments in the healthcare system require that nurses continue updating. So sabi nga natin kanina, learning is a continuous process. It doesn't stop after your graduation. So you should keep on reading. You should keep on improving yourselves. All right. As we all know, In a male brain, okay, at the age after the age of 18, it starts actually to shrink, okay, triple, three times faster than the female brains, okay, uh, than the female brain, okay. So mas mabilis ng 3 beses yung pag-shrink ng brain ng isang lalaki as compared to the female counterpart. Okay? So for you to avoid the shrinkage of your brain, okay, or for you to avoid your brain from shrinking, okay, liliit yan, mag-deteriorate ang mga neurons. It is advisable that you keep on studying. You have to learning new things, you compute, okay, you read challenging stories, maybe mga ganyan, okay, that will challenge your neurons, okay, to acquire more knowledge, okay, and of course wisdom as well. So keep on reading, okay, even though it is the stories or the concepts that you're reading at times are boring, okay, you have to remember that your learnings are more important than, okay, the effect, okay, that it may bring you, like boredom or any related feelings, okay, untoward emotions towards to what you're reading. So nurses have to learn and adjust the complex interrelationship between and among service units, departments, professional disciplines, community agencies, your patients, family, significant others, employees groups, and the administration. So we have to take note that we have to know also that we have to remember that nurses nowadays are interdisciplinary. They are they work in different settings that is really unimaginable, or it was not actually expected, or it was not foreseen, okay, several years ago, that nurses will be deployed in cruise ship, in aviation companies, okay, in factories, all right, in the construction side. So nurses before were planned. They were designed to work in the hospital, okay, or in the clinics. But nowadays, we are deployed in the various, okay, and in the various settings, okay, just like what we have mentioned a while ago. So you have to learn the interrelationship of these agencies, and you have to know how to refer patients. What are your functions? What are the job description of a nurse working in this kind of setting, mga ganyan. So you have to determine, okay, the delineating uh, factors, okay, and what are the things that you are expected to do, okay, the in the workplace that you are in, okay, regardless, or even though that is not a hospital or in a community facility. So these are actually some few of the reasons why we need to study leadership and management. And of course, there are still, okay, other things that you have to know, wherein nurses have to know their place and their specific roles in the organizational hierarchy. All right. So you also along with this, of course, you have to be aware. You have to be acquainted with with your rights, your basic rights as nurses or employees in the organization that you are employed in, okay, or you are assigned, okay. So as well as sabi nga natin, you have to know your role in the organizational hierarchy. So there are nurses, multiple types or kinds of nurses in a certain organization, and may iba-iba kayong functions, okay, in that certain institution. So there are charge nurses. These charge nurses are actually are responsible for the the regular staff. Okay, so they're in charge of the whole shift. Okay, they have to manage the resources, they have to take care of the patients, they have to consider also the supplies, the the security, and the safety of your equipments, okay, of the supplies. So yan ang tinitignan ng ating mga charge nurses. Okay? So um moving on, okay, aside from your charge nurses, you also have your supervisors. Okay? So the supervisors are actually in charge of the whole department, okay, or a certain unit. So a supervisor, one supervisor is in charge of the medical unit, okay. So all the concerns coming from the medical unit, such as the manpower, the client satisfaction, the customer service, all right, the utilization of the control of supplies and equipments, all right, the replenishment of these equipments and supplies are all concerns by the supervisor. And after the supervisor, you have unit managers, you have the training officer, nandyan yung ating mga tawag dito, head nurses, okay? Nandyan din yung ating chief nurse, yung ating assistant chief nurse, the medical director, and many others, okay? Which are who are part of of the organization. There's a sub-defined at varying levels also that they have to manage people, their clients or patients, their resources and time. So ito yung paulit-ulit nating sinasabi that in your own little ways, you are leaders, okay, in the eyes of your patients or in in the eyes of your clients. So as an informal leader in that certain organization, you have to be very concerned also not just with the client satisfaction, but also in taking care, in giving a bit of concern or a concern on the resources, okay, because without these resources available, it will cause probably a dilemma or problems in your daily operation. So ma, ma, maaantala yung pagbigay ninyo ng maganda at maayos na serbisyo sa inyong mga kliyente kung hindi napapangalagaan ng mabuti din itong mga gamit, itong mga supplies or equipments, machines, okay, na nandoon sa inyong keeping or sa inyong department. Alright. And some other reasons, ayan, wala na. Last na pala yun. So, great and famous leaders and then and now. So, how well do we know them and what are their contributions to the world, okay? Or to mankind, okay? So, you have here Mahatma Gandhi of India. Nandito rin si Mother Teresa of Calcutta. You have Martin Luther King. Okay, you also have Margaret Thatcher of UK. Ayan, so you have Nelson Mandela of South Africa. You have Alexander the Great. And of course, nandito rin si Pope John Paul II. Okay, a charismatic leader of the Catholic Church. And of course, you have Tiger Woods. Okay, a very prominent and rich athlete. And syempre, isa sa pinakamasikat na kilala natin is Kobe Bryant of LA Lakers. Okay? So, the question here now, all right, you also have Oprah Winfrey and the mother of nursing. Of course, hindi natin pwedeng kaligtaan at kalimutan si Florence Nightingale, all right? Who is the proponent of your environmental theory. Okay, so these leaders actually, what the question here is what made them great and famous. Okay, what are their traits as a great leader? So these are the things that we have to know also, or we have to, reflect on. Okay, I think it will be included also in our discussions later. Okay, So historical traits attributed to leaders are the following. So they are one of the best. They are looked upon by a lot of people. They are praised. They're recognized in every occasion or in events. All right, that that teaches leadership and management as well. And these traits that they possess are actually worthy of emulation, ika nga. So, what are the traits of these leaders that are worthy of emulation? Of course, they have this. They possess intelligence. All right, that's why um, we are we are idolizing them. Okay, not just because of their charisma, but of course their intelligence. Okay, their concepts, their models. Okay, and their great contribution to the development, okay, of mankind. Self-confidence, all right, they are determined. That's why they became ano ba yan, Bisaya Mandong became successful in their chosen field. They also have integrity. All right, so this is very important. Classroom integrity. Once it is damaged or tainted by wrongdoings, okay, or scandals, okay, the integrity will, of course, will suffer so much. Okay, so pag nawalang integridad mo bilang isang tao, the respect and admiration of people will also be wasted. Okay, they've been very sociable to people. They are people person. They've been very caring. Okay, and they empathize, okay, to the needs of others, to the situation of other people. All right, the respectability is very high. They've been trustworthy, and they become very flexible also, okay, to the situations of, okay, their subordinates, okay, or to the people around them. So these are qualities that a leader must have. Okay, so what then is leadership? So we were able to define leadership a while ago. All right, but additional information, this is a process of influencing others towards goal achievement. So a very important component of leadership is of course influence. Okay, gaano kaluwang, gaano kalawak, gaano kadami ang impluensya mo, because this influence is an instrumental part of leadership. And this means that leaders must affect, okay, others, often by inspiring and livening and engaging others to participate. Okay, so how well do you manage your people? How strong is your convincing power? Okay, how magical is your persuasion, okay, your ability to persuade your subordinates to join you in your mission to obtain or to attain now your objectives. Okay, so that is a vital part of leadership, your influence to, okay, people. So leadership can occur between the leader and another individual. It can also be in a group of individuals or a large number of people, such as organization, a community, or maybe a society. So you can be a leader in one person, in the eyes of your child. You can be a leader in the eyes of your family, but also you can become a leader in the eyes of the whole community as well. Okay, so leadership is not limited to, okay, number of people. So you can become a leader regardless, okay, or regardless of your race, your religion, your appearance, your point of view, okay, and many other factors. All right. So there are two types of leadership. You have formal and informal. Pag sinabi mong formal, there is a body or a group of people who have assigned you, who have elected you to assume that position. But when you say informal leadership, there is no formal assignment, there is no election that happened, and there was no, okay, appointment that was vested upon a certain individual and appointed you to that position. And that is the definition of your informal leadership. There is no okay formal turnover okay of someone, okay, or somebody of that leadership to you, okay, or to your or under your care. So this occurs when an individual demonstrates leadership outside the scope of a formal leadership role, or as a member of a group rather than the head or leader of the group. So two types of leadership. You have formal, there is election, there is an appointment. While informal leadership, walang appointment, walang election, but you are acting as a leader. Okay? Maybe because the original leader was absent, or there are no okay there are no individuals who are strong, who are brave enough to assume leadership other than you. Okay? So you have formal and informal. So leadership class is an interpersonal process of influencing the activities of an individual. Okay? So you are influencing, you are guiding, you are watching over that person or maybe a group of people towards the attainment of a given situation. Okay, so that is leadership. Other definitions would be the process of persuasion, your ability to convince people using your words. An example by which is an individual which induces a group to take action that is in accord with the leader's purpose or the shared purposes of all. Okay, so are your words magical and tawag dito, persuasive? Okay, do you have the ability to convince? Okay, they have the ability to move people, okay, from working, okay, towards your assignment or towards the attainment of your mission and your objectives. Okay, another definition coming from Stoner is that leadership is the process of directing and influencing task-related activities of your group members. So somehow you are treating yourself as a remote control, okay, directing or influencing directing or influencing your robots, okay, to move, to act, okay, or to contribute something in that certain institution, okay. Ayan, ang daming definition ng leadership. But of course, we have to take note that a leader becomes a leader because they have okay unique characteristics which are worthy of emulation, okay, or they are worthy of they are worthy of copying, okay, and this copied traits by the leader can become also or can serve as an example to people, okay, for them to change their characteristics as well. So leaders focus on a professional and purposeful vision that provides direction towards the preferred future. Okay. So another characteristic, of course, is your passion, which is expressed by leaders that involves the ability to inspire and align people towards the promises of life. Okay. So are you passionate? Are you working enough? Are your efforts sufficient? Okay. In the attainment of or in achieving or in making real your promises to your people. So another characteristic of a leader is integrity, that is based on knowledge of self, honesty, and maturity developed through experience and, of course, growth. All right. So, other leadership characteristics, of course, is intelligence, personality, and the ability. So, when you say intelligence, and the leader should be knowledgeable. Okay, he must know the principles, the policies, the laws, okay, that may affect the unit that he is in, okay. He or she should have a good judgment also, okay, and there should be a quick and sound decisions, okay. The leader or yes, the leader should be decisive, and there must be or he should have oral fluency as well. Okay, so a leader must have an organized and comprehensive thoughts, okay, when dealing with people, okay, especially if that leader is exposed to a large number of individuals. Okay, next, personalities, the adaptability, creativity of one person, cooperativeness, alertness, self confidence, personal integrity. So, emotional balance, there should be maturity emotionally, and must be able to control himself or herself, regardless of a strong, okay, regardless of a strong support system, okay, around her or him. Nonconformity and, of course, independence. Abilities is the ability of one person to enlist cooperation. So he must or he should make the organization as peaceful and as orderly as possible. He should not or she should not trigger fire or ignite what do you call this one, misunderstandings or fights or petty fights inside the organization. So a leader must also be tactful. He or she should be very concerned. He or she should be very careful with what he or she is uttering. Okay, there should be diplomacy, prestige. Okay, and of course social participation as well. So a leader must be able to constantly contact, join, okay, um, what do you call this one, social gatherings to and grab the opportunity to talk to the people working in that unit. Okay, uh, all right. Okay, so naantok ako bigla. I need coffee. Okay, so a leader class must possess a striking physical personality and is energetic. It's not actually a requirement that you are physically tawag dito, may abs ka, okay, or kailangan maayos yung ilong mo, maayos yung mata mo. It's just that a striking physical personality means you have a charisma, and you should always be energetic when it comes to your dealings with people. All right. So the energy of a leader resonates, okay? The kind of energy that the leader possesses resonates to his or her subordinates. So whatever energy or type of energy or amount of energy that you have, it will always reflect on the energy of your people as well. So you always have to be enthusiastic, you have to be dynamic, you have to uh, move your people up, you move their spirit up, lift them up, all right, for you to work positively on the attainment of your goals, all right. So a leader also, okay, uh, possesses a sense of purpose and direction. So this will be the guiding tool, okay, of the leader, since um, the leader serves as the navigator of the institution. So he is the one giving uh, directions, right? He guides everyone in the organization towards the achievement of the purpose, okay, or the uh, objectives. And of course, you have to remember also that a leader has the power of ready speech. So, uh, the leader or the navigator must be able um, to speak, okay, must be able or yes, must be able to persuade his people, his subordinates, okay, to move, to act, okay, and of course to find ways, all right, to achieve their purpose and their objectives. Next, is yun nga nabanggit natin kanina that a leader must be very enthusiastic. He or she must be very energetic about the purpose of the group and is devoted to the cause. So you always go back to the reason why you are doing this. Okay, once you are enlightened, you are you know what you know the purpose of what you're doing. Okay, you that will serve as your guide in the attainment of okay your aspirations as a team or as an institution. So a leader must also have a keen sight into the human nature of people. Okay, must be able to hindi naman sa pagiging judgmental, but must be able to observe. Okay, what kind of person, what kind of person is that? Uh, what kind of personality he has, okay, or what kind of the type of behavior, the actuations, the attitude, okay, will give an impression to the leader on of what type that individual or person is. He or she has faith and trust in the people he or she leads. All right. So this trust and rapport, the confidence of the leader towards his people is very important as well. Okay, because you cannot work in unison without, uh, of course, with doubts, okay, with paranoia, okay, that a certain person, is opposing or is contradicting your plans and your purpose towards your goal. All right. So at the same time, the leader must be able to display courage and persistence even in the face of the opposition. So it's always normal to have oppositions, to have bashers, all right, to have someone who will challenge your leadership, okay. But of course, you have to maintain your composure. You have to display your bravery as well, okay. And you always have to stay true of yourself, all right. So as long as you know, as long as you are doing right, okay, and you have placed God at the center of your leadership. No one is okay. You will not be violating any law or any rules during you are not violating any law or policies during your term as the leader of that certain organization. Then you will be very confident that all right, even though there are a lot of oppositions existing in that organization, okay, um, you will never lose sight, okay, of all right. So the person or the leader must also be decisive. Meron siyang sound decision. He's able to maintain a fair judgment. Okay. He is able to maintain equity and equality inside the organization. So it is the leader is expected also to be very cheerful and even tempered. Okay. The leader is able to control his emotions, all right, despite the odds, despite the pressure, okay, he or she must maintain gracefulness, all right, and cheerfulness even during the toughest times, okay. So a leader must show technical mastery as well that will be able to inspire others to do above average performance in their jobs. So the most important tool that you have to take note or you have to remember here is of course your ability to give yourself to make yourself as a model, okay, for them to emulate as well. So they see if they see an excellent performance coming from you, then that serves as an inspiration as well to them to do the same or to do even more. Okay, so a leader must also be very must be intelligent, He or she must be very versatile in what he does or what she does, and has a sense of humor. All right. So these are actually ingredients, okay, of your personality, of your totality as a leader, that will surely enable you to be loved and to be understood, and ikaw na rin mismo yung pagmamalasakitan nila if there are people who will go up against you. Okay, so if you are very approachable, they know that your people knows that you can lead them properly. Okay, they know that you can that you can handle them intelligently. Okay, in your pursuit of excellence and perfection. Okay, of course they will be the one to defend you from oppositions, from bashers. Okay, or from any other intruders, okay, that may influence your people. Okay, um, of course, your influence your people. All right. So the leader must also have a moral vision, integrity, and idealism. So the traits of a leader, okay, is defined, okay, as ito nga yung acronym natin na leader. L leads, love learns. E, enthusiastic, energetic. A, assertive and achiever. Achiever means intelligent, smart. Okay. D, dedicated and desirous. Desirous meaning there is versatility. Meron siyang determination. Okay. To achieve your goals as a unit or as an institution. He or she is effective and efficient, respectful, and responsible as well. Okay? So, elements of leadership: a leader is the one who motivates members of his group to achieve the goal. All right. Followers or the constituents are duty bound to follow leaders' orders and gives respect to the latter. All right. So, this is very important. Respect, okay, towards your leader is an important uh, tawag dito, value that you have to imbibe in you, okay, as a follower. So as a group, this includes both the leader and the group, the followers. Process is the means, the style, the formula, policies used by both the leader and his followers for the achievement of a common goal. And your goal is what makes the organization working, okay, and moving. This is the purpose, this is the objective or reason of leadership. Okay, so leadership theories. Let's have um, what do you call this one? A very quick review on the leadership theory. So I know that you were able to read on this, you were able to discuss on this in your reports, and it's uh, uh, it's a sad news that there's only a few of you, okay, who submitted their projects or their requirements on this assignment, leadership and leadership theories. Okay, so I know that we are having a difficult time. You do not have resources, but you have actually options on how to cope up with the subject. So there are books available for you to purchase, okay, just to guide you with just to guide you, of course, in these topics. Okay, so there are also reference materials, okay, or reading materials available in the internet that can help you, okay, in coping up with this lesson or with this subject. Okay, but before we go on or we move on to the leadership theories, you have to take note that a leader is different from a manager, since a leader is defined to be, okay, so gagamit tayo ng ayan. So a leader class is different from a manager, since, okay, oh, ayan. So paulit-ulit nating dinidiscuss ito. A leader is different from, okay, a manager, since a leader, alright. Alright, so kate-text lang ni Sir LJ, and I'm really pressured right now since he is actually expecting a 100% coming from a 100% passing rate from the batch who just graduated last August. Okay, so uh, whew, ang hirap, nakaka-pressure. Ang dami kong iniisip right now because we are really we are really in our toughest times. Okay, we are. This is the hardest time maybe that everyone is in. Okay, and the pressure really is the pressure really is on me. Okay, na nasa akin ngayon yung too much stress and pressure on how we can fulfill our promise to give the school a an excellent performance in the board examinations. Okay, so we are doing everything that we can, we can do. We extended much with our resources. Okay, even though we have a limited resources, we have extended everything. We have exhausted everything that we have. Okay, in the department, just to just to be able to inspire. Okay, and wish our graduating students, our kuyas and ates, okay, who just graduated, to join us in our mission, in our goal to achieve a an excellent performance in the board examinations. All right. So in a few months, okay, just barely 1 year from now, you will be doing the same. Kaya nga sabi ko lagi sa inyo, please do not waste the time that you have, okay, for nothing. Okay, you have to help yourself by reviewing, by learning, okay, by helping yourself. Dahil nga, if only I could take the exam for you guys, okay, gagawin ko. Pero hindi naman pwedeng ganon. Okay, that's not the process actually. Okay, so it's always your future lies in your hands. Okay, the good future that you can give your family, your kids, okay, lies in your hands. So the kind of life that you want to provide your children later on, okay, will have its deciding point. Okay, will have its judgment day next year. Okay, come November 2021. So you have to make the best out of your time, of your remaining of your free time now, okay, before it's too late. All right. So sabi nga ni Michelle Gumabaw dun sa Miss Universe Philippines last Sunday, that the best value or attribute that she was able to learn during this time of crisis is a discipline. All right. So it's really hard to um, be disciplined enough to wake up early in the morning, to have exercises with routines, okay, and to motivate yourself up, okay, para ma-achieve mo yung goals mo. No one is actually dictating you to exercise. Walang nagsasabi sa'yo na gumising ka na. Walang nagsasabi na mag-diet ka. Walang nagsasabi na gawin mo ito. Okay? Because a wonderful future is waiting for you. So walang ganon. So that is actually discipline. Okay? Doing something for your own sake, okay, without someone, okay, or without anyone, okay, or any person dictating you to do it. So that is discipline. So I hope, since walang nagga-guide, walang nagsasabi, walang nagre-remind sa inyo on a daily basis, okay, to do this and to do that, sana ginagawa ninyo yung part ninyo, okay, para sa inyong future. Okay, so the little steps, okay, the simple steps, okay, or the little improvements that you have right now will have a great impact on your performance come November 2021, your board examinations. All right. So as a leader and a manager differs from each other, okay, in different ways. So you have to take note that leadership inspires change. Okay? Number one, a leader inspires change. Okay? While a manager manages transformation. Okay? A manager manages transformation. Ayan, busog na busog ako class. Okay, I just ate biryani. If I don't know if you're familiar with biryani. I think it's an Arabic or Indian food. Masarap siya. It's yung rice niya filled with parang mixed with curry powder, may ginger, tapos basta may chicken or beef, pwede rin na maasim na medyo maalat na maanghang. Hindi mo maintindihan pero grabe, nakakagising ng diwa. Okay. Aside from the fact that a leader leads, okay, or inspires change, okay, so ilagay natin. A leader also, okay, requires vision, okay? So a leader requires vision. While a manager class, okay, a manager requires tenacity, okay? Requires tenacity. Okay? So, ano nga ba ang okay? Ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng anong ginagawa ng leader? Okay? It requires a vision. So meron ka dapat tinitignan, okay, na guiding principle, all right? Okay, para yun yung pupuntahan mo. Yun yung tinitignan mo na guide, okay, papunta dun sa patutunguhan ng organization na kinabibilangan mo. Okay? So, a manager, sabi naman, is would require tenacity. So tenacity is actually the quality or a fact of being very determined. Okay, yung desire, okay, yung apoy na umaalab dyan okay, sa puso mo is what we call tenacity. Okay, so it requires tenacity. Merong apoy na umaalab sa yung puso, your desire, okay, to achieve your goal or your aspirations. Manager or leadership requires imagination. Okay, it requires imagination, while a manager class, okay, or management would require specifics. Okay, it requires specifics. Okay, kailangan very detailed. Okay, kailangan very comprehensive ang mga bagay-bagay, okay, kapag sa isang manager. A leader class, okay, requires abstract thinking. Okay, it or a leader is someone who requires abstract thinking, while a manager, okay, requires a concrete data or information. A manager requires a concrete, maliwanag, okay, na impormasyon ang kailangan. Whereas for a leader, medyo vague, okay, medyo malabong mangyari, okay, pero ano yan, pero sobrang tawag dito, it's something that is impossible to happen, okay, but once this imagination or vision comes, okay, or would become a reality, all right, it's actually it is actually considered to be very what do you call this one, parang engrande, kumbaga. At 'di ba minsan kapag sobrang hirap na isang activity at nagawa mo siya, it's very fulfilling. Okay? nakaka nakakagaan ng pakiramdam, the the acknowledgement, the recognitions that you get from people are actually heartwarming and inspirational. So leadership requires ability to articulate. Okay, the leadership requires the ability to articulate, whereas for management, okay, for management requires ability to interpret. Okay, it requires the ability of someone to interpret. All right. Other distinctions between a leader and a manager or a leader requires an aptitude to sell, okay, an aptitude to sell, while a manager requires an aptitude to teach, okay, an aptitude to teach. Leadership requires understanding of the external environment, the people around you, the things around you, okay, while management requires understanding on how work gets done inside the organization. Okay, okay, how work gets done. Paano ginagawa yung trabaho, okay, sa isang organization. So that's what we are trying to, okay, to teach, okay, as a manager. A leader should requires risk taking, okay, dapat buo yung loob mo na pumusta, sumugal, okay, sa isang bagay. Okay, and later on kapag hindi, halimbawa, hindi siya naging successful, okay, hindi ka maninisi ng ibang tao. Alright? But a manager always requires self-discipline. Okay? A manager requires self-discipline. Alright. So leadership theories, okay, I have given you this as a report before, all right. So there are actually two types, okay, or two generations of this leadership theories. So meron tayo ng mga conventional, yung mga lumang-luma na leadership theories, well, as well as we have our modern, okay, theories also. Okay, these theories are guiding principles, okay, in our leadership, and in our in the type of leadership that we have. So leadership roles and management functions. So management science like nursing develops a theory based from many disciplines such as businesses, psychology, sociology, and other related subjects or science. Okay, or tawag dito, branch of science. So, because organizations are too complex and varied theories, views of what successful management is and what it should be have changed repeatedly in the last century. So, theories, views of what successful management is and what it should be have changed repeatedly for, okay, over 100 years. So, in your leadership theories, guys, you have your trait theory, okay, which is focused on what is effective or what effective leader is and not on how. Okay, so the trait theory is common to all good leaders. All right. So traits common to all good leaders, as the trait theory have mentioned, is actually honesty, trustworthiness, integrity, okay, and dedication, commitment, hard working. So this trait theory assumes that some people have certain characteristics or personality traits that can make them better individuals or can make them better leaders than the other person or other individuals as well, other individuals. So to determine the traits that distinguish great leaders, researchers studied the lives of prominent people throughout history. All right, so the people who we have uh, uh, all right, whom we have shown you a while ago, okay, have been studied, okay, by people, okay. Although trade theories have obvious shortcomings, like for example, they neglect the impact of others, or the situation on the leadership role, they are worth examining. Okay, so many of the characteristics identified in trait theories, okay, such as intelligence, knowledge, adaptability, critical thinking, diplomacy, charisma, and of course, emotional intelligence and independence, all right, are actually successful traits that which are worth emulating. All right. So contemporary opponents of these theories argue, however, okay, so meron din mga oppositions of the trait theories, okay, which actually was commonly which became popular in the 1900s, okay, that leadership skills can be developed and not just inherited. Okay. So the point here in your trait theory is that the leadership traits now are inherited or passed on from one generation to another. Okay? So in trait theory class, they believe that leadership capabilities or abilities are inherited. Capabilities are inherited. Okay? So ito ang tinutumbok ng ating trait theory. So physical traits of a good leader is defined to be you being young, okay, middle age, that person should be energetic, tall, okay, and handsome. Okay, so medyo ano ito, no? Medyo hindi naman judgmental, medyo bias. Okay? So meron siyang mga qualities, okay, na syempre hindi siya common sa lahat ng tao. So, medyo mahirap maghanap ng ganitong kind of leader. So, social background traits, they should be educated at the right schools and they should be very socially prominent. So, ito actually yung isang characteristic, okay, of most politicians in the Philippines. Okay, so kung na yung lolo, yung parents are politicians, most probably there is a high chance for them to become for the third generation to become to be involved in politics as well. Okay, and of course, since they have the capacity, these politicians, the first generation, the second generation have the capacity to bring their children, okay, or their grandchildren for that matter, to good schools. Okay, so they are being educated, they are really have this opportunity of educating their children, okay, uh, at the right schools or at the big schools, okay, and with the name that is being carried by the third generation from, of course, their first and second generation, they become very socially prominent as well. And minsan nagagamit nila yung pangalan ng pamilya, okay, to be, yung nagagamit nila yung apelyido ng pamilya sa kanilang to their advantage. Okay? So, yun ang ating trait theory. Trait theory, social characteristics of a leader should be charismatic, charming, tactful, okay? So, very careful sa kanyang mga words. The person is popular, cooperative, and diplomatic. Personality traits, of course, they are confident, okay, in front of people. They're adaptable to changes. Ayan, so nakikita natin sila minsan kahit hindi sila nagkakamay sa bahay pagdating ng election or during the campaign period, nakikita mo nagkakamay sila sa mga campaign sorties nila. All right? The person should also be assertive and emotionally stable as well. So task related characteristics, so they should be driven to excel. All right. So they should also accept responsibilities that is being given to them, and they must have an initiative, and they should be results oriented as well. Okay. All right. So the great man theory was actually the basis for most of leadership research until the mid 1940s. So the great man theory came from the Aristotelian philosophy. Okay, so that asserts that some people are born to lead, whereas others are born to be led. Okay, it also suggests that great leaders will arise when the situation demands it. So your great man theory is also known as your genetic theory, where wherein they believe that great leaders are heroic, mythic, and destined to rise to leadership when it is needed, okay, or when the situation needs it. Okay, great man was used because at that time leadership was thought of primarily as a male quality, especially in terms of military leadership. Okay, so next would be your charismatic theory. Okay, your charismatic theory is a type of leadership, okay, that inspire other people by obtaining emotional commitment from them, okay, and by arousing strong feelings of loyalty and enthusiasm. Okay, so para silang mga ano, mga tawag doon, yung na-possess, para silang mga tawag doon na hypnotize, okay, that everything that the leader will tell them to do, ayan, nakasunod yung kaninyang mga followers because of the charisma that the leader possesses. Okay, leaders perceive themselves as having supernatural purpose or destiny, just like the leadership of President Ferdinand Marcos. Okay, so up until today, marami pa rin naniniwala sa kanya, marami pa rin siyang mga followers, and that is which is very evident when his children Bongbong Marcos and Amy Marcos was elected in the Senate with a okay remarkable number of votes. Okay, so I think Bongbong, when he ran the second time as a senator, he was number 7. Same with Amy Marcos. So followers trust the leader's beliefs, exhibit affection, obedience, and unquestioning acceptance of the leader. So whatever the leader does, okay, there is no there will be no opposition or questions, okay, directed to the leader. So charismatic and inspirational quality possessed by some people, which makes others feel better in their presence. Okay, so yung presensya pa lang nila nakakagaan na, yung presensya pa lang nila uh, tawag dito, nakaka-inspire na for the workers. All right. So leaders likely to set an example of their behavior, communicate high expectations, and many others. Leaders emerge during a crisis, accurately assess the situation, communicate self-confidence, the use of personal power, and of course, self-sacrifices. Also, leaders perceive themselves as having supernatural purpose and destiny, and that followers may idolize and worship them as spiritual figures or superhumans. Okay, ayan. So just like the example of Shinto, okay, of China, okay, kaya hanggang ngayon may mga tao doon na naniniwala sa kanya to the extent of idolizing and worshiping him, okay, kaya nabuo ang Shintoism, okay. Behavioral leadership class is another type of leadership which is okay, divided, okay, into your employee centered relationship and your job centered relationship. Okay, so when you say employee centered relationship, the focus is on the human needs of subordinates. Okay, while the job center leadership is focused on the cost and efficiency. So this, if these kinds of leadership will join together, then there would be a what do you call this one, a synergistic combination of the two, since there is a focus on the manpower, as well as a focus is also given to the to the financial aspect of the organization. Okay, so next would be, all right, situational or contingency theories, okay, which started in the 1950s and until the late 1980s. Okay, so the idea here in situational or contingency leadership is that um, the leadership style should vary according to the situation or the individuals involved was first suggested almost 100 years ago. Ayan, by Mary Parker Follett, one of the earliest management consultants, and among the first to view an organization as a social system of contingencies. Okay, so situations will create different leadership style requirement for leaders. Okay, so in your contingency approach, all right, there is an interrelationship between the group's leader and its members as influenced by the manager's ability to be a good leader. Okay, so the task to be accomplished and the power associated with the leader's position also were cited as key variables. Okay, in the achievement of your goal uh, as a um, as a group or as a community or as an institution. So ayun na nga. So, although situational and contingency theories added necessary complexity to leadership theory and continue to be applied effectively by managers, in the last 50 years during the 1970s, theories have begun arguing that effective leadership depended on an even greater number of variables, including organizational culture, the values of the leader, and the followers as well. Okay, so the solution to a managerial situation is contingent on the factors that impinge the situation. Okay, so what do you call this one? The problems that may arise in the leadership of a person using situational or contingency theory would always depend on how we are able to give solution to the different issues and problems that may happen, okay, along the way. All right. So next you have a special type of situational leadership by Hersey Blancard. Okay, wherein determining appropriate leadership style shall be based on the amount of direction or the task behavior. Okay, so at the same time, there should be an amount of emotional support or the relationship behavior as well. Okay, so also included is the task behavior, one-way communication, which spells out the duties and responsibilities of the group. So it tells us, or it mentions here what to do, how are you going to do it, and when to do that certain action. So also relationship behavior is a two-way communication by providing a social emotional support. Okay. So in your Hersey Blancard type of situational leadership, there are four leadership styles that you have to remember. Number one is telling. Okay. This is high task. All right. High task, low relationship behavior. All right. So in this kind of model, selling is also included, wherein there is a high relationship behavior, wherein the leader encourages two-way communication and builds confidence and motivation on the employee. Okay? And number three is participating, high relationship, low task behavior. Okay, so medyo all right. So, participating means there is a high relationship but very low task behavior. Okay. So, leader and followers share decision and no longer need or expect the relationship to be directive. So, mas matimbang yung connection ng leaders and followers up to the point, okay, na medyo nai-invade na yung tawag dito, yung respect by the followers towards the leader, and they can become very very comfortable with their bosses or with their leaders, to the point na hindi na nila alam yung boundary minsan on I mean they do not know the demarcation line between them and the leader. Okay? Next, okay. Leadership style is of course delegating. So there is low relationship, walang masyadong contact. Okay. Walang masyadong contact si leader at saka si follower. And at the same time, there is a low task behavior as well. Okay, so followers are ready to accomplish tasks and they are motivated and competent to take full responsibility. All right. So, in another type of your contingency model is it came from Fred Fiedler, okay, who mentioned three conditions that could define a certain situation. So, number one component is the leader, okay. So, how well do the manager and employees get along? So, gaano ba kadalas ang kanilang, for example, activities, ang kanilang meetups, okay? So, maliban sa gaano kadalas, gaano, okay, kaganda yung relationship ni manager towards his or her staff, okay? So, at the same time, your task structure, is the job highly structured, fairly structured, or somewhere in between. So we are grading actually the type of structure, okay, on a given task. All right. So is it highly commendable or highly structured? Pwedeng fairly structured or poorly structured yung kanyang, okay, example. Ayan. So you also have the position power. So this is how much authority does the manager possess. So how much power does the leader can possess or can implement to his or her people as well. So that is now your contingency model. Aside from those, okay, managers are rated as to the task, okay, and at the same time, the kind of relationship that he or she has, okay, to his or her people. So, you are actually evaluated according to the performance, okay, and accomplishment for your task completion. And at the same time, you are not actually graded, but you have this fulfillment, okay, of growing yourself, okay, socially, by building good relationships, okay, or building good your good company with new people as well. All right. So next is you have your path goal model by Robert House, wherein it says that the leadership styles must possess or must contain directive leadership, supportive and participative leadership as well. So when you say directive leadership, there is a specific advice given to a group and rules and structures are established. Okay, so it's just like a promotive type of leadership amongst people. So example of your directive leadership is to clarify expectations. Okay, so that is an example. Next, you have now supportive leadership. There is a good relations, okay, being promoted within the group, and sensitivity to subordinates needs is shown as well. Okay? And participative leadership, decision making is based on consultation with the group and information is shared within or with the group. So remember that in a participative leadership, okay, kakailanganin natin yung opinion ng bawat isa in that certain meeting. So, decisions are actually made, they are built, okay, based on our ability to ask. the people. Okay, our ability to get in touch with the people. All right, as well as with the group, okay, of people. So leadership styles. All right. So itutuloy natin ito next time, guys. Okay. So I think it's time. We need to rest as well. We have a lot of topics to discuss pa po. Okay, but I cannot promise to give you until, or I mean, if I could extend so, much more time, or more time. Okay, so I think you need to rest as well, just as much as I do. Okay, so I'll just see you, and hopefully nasa mabuting kalagayan kayong lahat. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you're healthy as of the moment. So thank you so much for joining me in this recap of leadership and management.